For many years I have held the dream close to my heart of visiting Jordan to see the historic city of Petra. My parents had been there many years ago, and then I saw the film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The scenes filmed in Petra made me want to go even more. Finally, in the winter of 2019, I see this place for myself and make my dream come true. As I follow our guide through the ticket entrance to Petra, already there are signs that we are following the path to the lost city. It doesn't seem so lost now as I join many tourists heading toward the Slot Canyon entrance to Petra, known as the Siq. In Arabic, the word Siq means the shaft. Horses, horse carts, and people all head for the Siq. This might not be the mystical experience I was hoping for. My first sighting of a Nabatean tomb is thrilling, and before I know it, tombs of different designs are lining the sandstone edges of the valley. Bright sunshine of the open valley fades as I enter the cool, dark Slot Canyon. Now everything seems more magical and personal. It is the natural gateway to Petra. I am giddy with excitement as I make my way along the Siq. It is a winding, twisting path about 3/4 of a mile long that sometimes narrows to about 10 feet in width. An ingenious system of water channels in the Siq brought water to Petra to grow crops and make life possible for the 30,000 people from all over the world that once lived here. The occasional horse cart clatters on by, bouncing over the rough gravel and Roman paving stones that make up the floor of the Siq. I am eager to see what is just around the corner, but commit myself to absorbing all I can as I travel slowly along the Slot Canyon. I am reminded of the Slot Canyons of our own southwestern desert, yet the carvings in the sandstone walls tell me I am in a wondrous and historic place. I forget about the other tourists and concentrate on deepening my experience. Carved feet and legs are all that remain of a statutory group of a caravan of men and camels carved into the rock. The rest have been worn away by time and floods over the past 2,000 years. Imagine walking down a Slot Canyon for nearly a mile, and then this grand building carved from sandstone appears before your eyes. You may have imagined this moment, but it is a surprise when it finally comes into view. My first glimpse of the most famous building in Petra, the 130-foot tall structure known as the Treasury, really does take your breath away. It is magnificent. I savor the moment before stepping out of the Siq. Emerging out of the Siq, I'm immediately overwhelmed with the sights and sounds of camels, vendors, and the many travelers from all over the world that made the same journey that day. I am jolted back to the world of today, but for a while I was able to dream of the ancient city of Petra. Well, I guess I did not expect to have this place to myself. It is one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Back in the modern world, I share this amazing place with many others. For some, it is another day at work, but for us travelers, it is the experience of a lifetime. A turn to the right takes me to the city's center through the avenue of facades, named for the stone-carved tombs, palaces, and homes that line the way. "2,000 years of erosion has damaged many of the rock-cut facades, but enough of their magnificence remains to stir the imagination about this ancient city that was once considered to be heaven on earth by the early Persians." The path begins to widen into the more open valley of the city's center. Dozens of tombs carved from the rose-red sandstone lie within the city of Petra. Petra was a major trade center and trading route, and a pleasure resort that drew Egyptians, Syrians, Greeks, Judeans, and Romans to make their homes here. Each culture brought its own influences in art and style, and Petra is a blend of all these cultures. In the end, it was the Roman Empire that absorbed the former Nabatean capital of Petra in 106 AD, and soon after that its importance as a trading center declined. By the close of the Byzantine Empire in 700 AD, Petra was slowly abandoned and then forgotten after new trade routes by the sea were developed. In the early 1800s, a European traveler rediscovered this lost city. But it had never really been lost, as Bedouins had always frequented this place, and some were living in the magnificent tombs when it was rediscovered by the Western world. Tomb raiders looted most of the tombs long ago, and their treasures were thus lost, yet only about 15% of the city has been uncovered. The vast majority is still underground and untouched. When the Romans took control of Petra around 100 CE, they channeled their energy into cut rock avenues and edifices of the city center. The city center has its very own Roman main street, lined with the remains of public fountain, water supply, agoras, theaters, and temples. The remains of a freestanding Byzantine church dominates the city center, and it was built before the shifting trade routes robbed Petra of its importance and viability that led to the abandonment of the city 1,500 years ago. Like so many ancient sites, Petra requires an active imagination to raise the site from the past, to flesh out the remnants of walls and the few columns in order to resurrect their former glory. But the tombs and monumental buildings of past empires remain to remind us of the glory that once was Petra.